Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Tuesday evening, September 26, 2023. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what the has been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any other related questions that you might have about the future of the day in your specific area. I respond to all comments and I really live for this stuff. Alright, so let us take a look at what the US Climate Prediction Center is showing on their Global Tropics Hazards Outlook that came out today, issued the 26th of September. We can see that they have some amount of red and whites across the southeastern United States coast and the western Caribbean, even into the southern Gulf of Mexico, and we know that's indicative of some amount of tropical cyclone formation probability. That's valid for October 4 to 10. We even see it extended, even incorporating a piece of Jamaica around the time period from October 11 to 17. We'll see exactly what unfolds. We know how these things go. They make a very far out forecast, and then sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. So it's just a waiting game at this point. As relates to what the US National Hurricane Center is showing for the next 7 days, we can see that they still have that area of possible development highlighted, and it's expected to move towards the northwest, now having a high chance of becoming a tropical depression, possibly missing the Caribbean. However, as it relates to Tropical Storm Philippe, if we remember yesterday morning, it was forecast to go more towards the northwest, possibly missing the Caribbean, and according to their most recent update, the system seems to be making a turn, or possibly going to be making a turn very soon, to a more westward kind of track, and we can see that the cone of uncertainty from the US National Hurricane Center is starting to incorporate some more of the northeastern Caribbean. So who knows, maybe sections of Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, the Leeward Islands might get in on some of the weather associated with that system. We know these things go. We have to stay updated as much as possible to know exactly what unfolds. Who knows, it might even make it as close to Jamaica and bring some amount of rainfall. So stay tuned. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see that we have the tropical wave that has now pushed off towards the west, now affecting portions of Central America. We can see Tropical Storm Philippe right there to the east of the Leeward Islands, and to the east of Philippe we have the central flow pressure associated with that area of possible tropical cyclone development. Taking a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can see the clouds associated with that tropical wave interacting with a trough that's bringing lots of thunderstorms to sections of Florida, the Bahamas, Cuba, the Cayman Islands, and we can also see the clouds associated with Tropical Storm Philippe. Majority of this spin, the low level spin associated with it, is still off to the west of the main batch of convection that's being sheared off towards the east, and to the southeast of Philippe we have that area of low pressure that's definitely going to be developing very soon. We'll be talking more about the weather across the Caribbean later on. Let's focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today. It was stated that we would have received some rainfall across sections of some central and western parishes in Jamaica. However, we saw that we had more of the rainfall across sections of some northern parishes, so we had that upper level wind shear blowing those high cold cloud tops off towards the north coast, which is why a post was made at 1:01 p.m. on our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and TikTok pages highlighting the visible satellite images showing clouds bringing overcast skies and some isolated thunder showers to sections of some northern parishes, even sections of some northern portions of some southern parishes. So maybe northern St. Andrew, sections of northern St. Catherine, sections of western Portland, St. Mary, St. Anne, Trelawney, St. James, Hanover definitely gotten on some amount of afternoon rainfall for today. And we even had one commenter confirming the rainfall in her area of St. Andrew. We're not here in St. Andrew right now. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images before the sun went down, we can see it even better. All of those high cold cloud tops as they started to dissipate when the sun was going down. And we can also see the thunderstorms on the infrared satellite images, the sparkling white dots. Definitely got some of that today across the north coast. can see that the Cuban Doppler radar images are not showing anything that drastically right now. You might be saying, wait, isn't that some greens, yellows, and reds that represent rainfall? No, that's actually ground cluttering. When it comes to rainfall, we have to look at what we see across the sea, as well as what is moving from east to usually west. It's related to the temperatures right now. We can say we have 28 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston, and by around 2 a.m. tonight, the temperature should be getting down, maybe 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, these maps from the Euro and the GFS are showing 1 p.m. on a Wednesday, and we see Jamaica still embedded in some orange shades that represent even up to 3 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. And we know the normal temperatures for the month of September is about 90 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about the equivalent of 32 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 32 to 35 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica on Wednesday. Taking a look at the dry air map, we can still see that we have most of the dry air across portion of the eastern Caribbean and the northern portion of the main development region. Majority of Jamaica should be in the clear for now into tomorrow. Taking a look at the Saharan dust forecast, we can see that we don't have much to see for 2 p.m. on Wednesday. Most of the Saharan dust is right there across portions of the main development region, as indicated by the browns. Don't see much taking place across Jamaica for that time at all. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can see that much of Jamaica's eastern side is going to be getting those 1.5 1.5 meter wave height. Well, it's the western portion of the island that's going to be getting the 0.5 of a meter wave height, and that's due to the fact that the winds are going to be coming in from the east, the strongest side, so averaging maybe 10 to 15 or even 20 knots. And then we know what usually happens in the afternoon. We have that air piling up across sections of some central and western parishes in Jamaica, some inland areas. So we have those cumulus clouds, and then the daytime heating contributes to those clouds becoming cumulonimbus clouds, and then we have that afternoon convection. And with the upper level winds coming in from the northeast for tomorrow, it's definitely going to favor more of those thunderstorm activity, more of the overcast sky showers and thunderstorm across sections of some southern parishes in Jamaica. So maybe sections of St. Thomas, St. Andrew, Kingston, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland might get in on more of those overcast skies and thunderstorms. And if we take a look at the rainfall forecast, this is valid for 3 p.m. Jamaica time by both the Euro and the GFS. And we do see the blues that represent rainfall across sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes. GFS is making more sense, having more of those darker shades of blues across sections of some southern parishes. We can see it right there, especially across sections of St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, sections of Kingston, and even St. Thomas. And we can see that both the accumulated precipitation forecast by the Euro and the GFS models are showing some amount of rainfall in the forecast for a section of the island. GFS showing a little bit less than what the Euro is showing. Euro is showing up to 0.52 of an inch of rainfall across maybe sections of Kingston and St. Andrew, while the GFS is showing up to 0.47 of an inch of rainfall across sections of some northern parishes. Either way, we're going to be in store for some amount of rainfall for tomorrow. We're in the month of September. We usually receive an increase in the amount of rainfall that we get this month, so we'll take all the rainfall that we can get. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let's focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So we can see lots of isolated clouds bring some showers and maybe even some thunderstorms to sections of the Leeward Islands right now. Lots of clouds bringing thunderstorms to sections of southeastern Florida, sections of the southeastern United States coast, Cuba, the Bahamas, sections of the Cayman Islands, Nicaragua, Honduras, Belize, Guatemala, even sections of Mexico, Costa Rica getting in on some of that as well. Taking a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, we know Doppler radar images show the actual rainfall. Greens represent some amount of light to moderate rainfall, yellows represent some heavy rainfall, and we can see that as early as 1:30 p.m. today, we've been having some amount of rainfall across sections of some northeastern islands of the Caribbean. So Leeward Islands, definitely St. Lucia, Martinique, Dominica, Guadeloupe, Montserrat, St. Kitts, St. Martin, maybe Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Bart's gotten on some amount of rainfall, even up to this hour, they're definitely getting in on some amount of rainfall, if not thunderstorms, and even sections of Puerto Rico getting in on some of that as well. Taking a look at the Barbados radar, we do see where we have that rainfall coming into sections of Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines. Most of the weather passing to the north of Barbados at this time. While if we take a look at the weather view of Doppler radar images, we can see that rainfall across those very spots that we saw it on the satellite images. So sections of the Bahamas, Florida, sections of the Yucatan Peninsula, Belize, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Honduras, definitely getting in on some amount of rainfall at this time. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, anywhere from 3 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures can be experienced from the eastern Caribbean to the Gulf of Mexico. As it relates to the Saharan dust forecast, not much going on for 2 p.m. on Wednesday. Most of the Saharan dust, as indicated by the brown, will be across portions of the main development region. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, only 1.5 meter wave heights are expected across majority of the Caribbean, but the areas that are closest to Tropical Storm Philippe might get in on some purples that represent 1.5, not even 1.5, 2 meter wave heights or more. And considering that this system is forecast to make it closer towards the northeastern Caribbean islands, the wave heights are just going to be getting higher as time moves along. Taking a look at the wind forecast, we can see that both the Euro and the GFS are showing 15 to 20 knot winds across majority of the Caribbean. It's only where we see those yellows where we have those areas of low pressure, Tropical Storm Philippe, and that area of low pressure to the southeast of it. That's where we have the strongest winds, and it makes sense that wherever the winds are the strongest, that's where the waves are the highest, as we saw on the other maps. As it relates to the rainfall forecast for tomorrow, keep in mind that these maps from the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Wednesday. And we do see that there's consensus. Both maps are showing the same thing in terms of the amount of rainfall expected from anywhere from Florida, the Bahamas, Cuba, Jamaica, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the Windward and the Leeward Islands, majority of the Leeward Islands, that is. Only sections of, let's say, southern Barbados, Grenada, Tobago might not get in on some of that rainfall, but Trinidad might get in on some of that rainfall. Looking southward, maybe more in the way of rainfall for sections of Guyana, maybe some isolated rainfall for sections of Suriname or French Guyana, while Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, sections of Guatemala, Belize, and Mexico are definitely going to be in for some amount of rainfall. And we do see the consensus on both the Euro and the GFS models, and when they're showing something similar like this, the chance of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for